Good. So welcome to the January 2024 meeting of the Jaffna Club. Our speaker today is Dr. Neil Anthony-Pillai from Unicom TIC. I'll introduce him more closely in a moment. As usual, I start with the objective, so people who are at this meeting for the first time or who are watching the recording for the first time will know what we are here for. The club will facilitate, foster and support social intercourse and fellowship. Build a network of members and non-members that can work together, promote the economic development of the Northern. The club is a catalyst, helps people like us connect with each other and helps people like us connect with Northern entrepreneurs and business owners. So I say it's a catalyst, which means that the club doesn't have an objective to build itself up, to invest. The club doesn't raise funds, doesn't form partnerships. It creates connections, which allows other people to get together for those purposes. So we've had meetings since September 2020, so every month without missing a month. And I will slowly page through this so you can see the last few months. So I like to keep my introduction short. Today's speaker is from Unicom TIC. Dr. Neil and Shantha Ruban contacted me when I was in the UK in December and told me about their project, which sounds extremely ambitious, but very large and potentially important project. So I was keen for them to speak to our group about this. They're both successful entrepreneurs in the UK. They've raised money in the UK and are fully funding this project, providing scholarships to students to make them industry ready to enter the IT industry. But I will hand over the screen to you, Neil. So if you take over and I'll leave you to do your presentation.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Jekhan. Can you see my screen? Yes. Can you hear me is the first question.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, thank you for inviting us to present today. Shantha and I attended the last Jaffna Club meeting. We only became aware of it after meeting Jekhan in the UK. So we saw Chinay's presentation last time. Without further ado, I'll take you through what we're going to talk about today. So Unicom TIC is, TIC stands for Training and Innovation Center, which is a project that Shantha and I are starting off. We are the founders. Shantha Ruban is the co-founder and executive director. He's also a group CEO for a software organization with multiple offshoots throughout the world called Programmers UK. My daytime job is a pediatrician, working for the NHS. But it will all come together as to why I'm venturing out into IT as I go through. Us two are the founders, and then we have an advisory board made up of 4 people at the moment who guides us so that we don't go off track. So we have got Professor Dalen, who is a professor in Norway, working for the University of Applied Sciences in Western Norway. He has extensive links to Sri Lanka. He has been working with both Jaffna University about Shantha will be able to expand on this, but for a number of years now. And he has got close links with multiple universities there. He's in a program that joins up UK and Sri Lanka and Norway. And then we have got Ranganathan, who is a retired managing director and CEO of commercial bank in Sri Lanka. Some or most of you all may have heard of him, know him. And then we have got Selvakumar, Nataraja Selvakumar, ex-board of Compass Group in the UK, successful entrepreneur at the moment in the UK. He also happens to be one of the trustees of a charity called Blossom Trust, which has an impact on the Unicom TIC initiative as such, which I'll touch upon later. And lastly, Sri Master, as we call him, he's a retired banker living out of Canada. He has written and produced multiple radio shows and dramas, both in Canada and Sri Lanka. He likes to be introduced as a social activist. The reason I put him, the teacher, in red is he was our teacher for physics when we were growing up, who shaped our ambitions in life as such going forward. So this is the advisory board. Now I'm going to spend some time on both mine and Shantha's background, because it gives you context as to why we are venturing out on this. Okay, Shantha and I have known each other for over 50 years. We used to play cricket in Motwal, and that's I met him in the cricket park when I was under 10 years old. And we were both studying in Colombo and did our first computer programming course in Colombo in Sri Lanka in 1981-82. We did it with two different organizations, but we were exposed to computers just over 43 years ago. We were also part of a group called the Forest Club, which was a group of students, about 17 of us, who were doing our A-levels, guided by three teachers, a physics teacher, a biology teacher, and a chemistry teacher. We formed this club, and we were doing lots of stuff with charities and orphanages. They were molding us to be socially aware and socially responsible at that age in our mid-teens. So when we finished this course, we decided, Shantha and I decided with the other people in the club, that why don't we do a free weekend course on computer programming? And one of the group members, his dad happened to be an editor at Veerayasari paper. So he put this tiny ad on the paper, and we were expecting a couple of dozen of people to turn up. And we had over 200 people turn up for this weekend course that we managed to do it at St. Benedict's College in Colombo. And if you think about it, we are talking mid-1982. Not many people had been exposed to computers. And there was me and Shantha standing there talking about COBOL programming and RPG programming without a computer in sight, because we couldn't afford to own a computer, but we could teach the concepts of programming. Because of the response we had, then we decided to run weekend courses, and then became full-time courses, 6 to 8 months courses, attended by 50 to 100 people at any given time. Shantha and I left the country, but the organization carried on for a number of years after that. And it was about introducing people to IT. And this was, once again, 40 odd years ago. The primary reason for us getting involved, wanting to do this, is in 1981, neither Shantha or I had seen a computer. And all of a sudden, when we saw it, we wanted to share it with others so that everybody could get it. We came to the UK in 82, 83 to continue our studies. And in the mid-1980s, Shantha's brother had a company called Unicom Data. And we used to go and work as volunteer unpaid workers or minimal pay just to get the experience so that we can put it on our CV, because it's the catch-22 in the UK. You need to have experience to get a job. Without a job, you can't without a job, you can't get experience. So we were working, the two of us, in the mid-80s for an organization called Unicom TIC, a tiny outfit based out of South London. Hence, the reason I put it in red is, hence we're bringing back that name into the initiative we are setting up. So that's hence it's called Unicom Training and Initiative Center, because it does have it had a significant impact on our careers as such. And the 4 members of the advisory board were all part of the Forest Club. So we have all known each other over 40 years. Even though we live in 6 different countries, 4 different continents, we have managed to stay in touch. We discuss everything we do and get guided by others. Then in the 90s, Shantha and I set off on a joint venture where we produced one of the first GP fund holding software in the UK. We were the second one to produce it. Anybody out of UK would know about the GP fund holding when the first initially Margaret Thatcher, then John Major introduced. So the GPs became self-sufficient rather than paid by the state as such. We wrote the software for it. And the late 90s onwards, Shantha went up and started setting up his software companies. In the UK, I went into the corporate world. I worked for large consultancies like Logica CMG as project director, moving on to Marriott Group, and finishing up as a vice president for the Marriott Hotel Group in the early 2000s. What you'll notice throughout our careers or throughout our life is that Shantha is the one who is more stable, who carries on, sees things through. I am the one who shows sign of hyperactivity, and I keep moving in and out of things. And we come back and start doing stuff together. 2000 onwards, Shantha set up his first office in Colombo for the software house. I had a midlife crisis after a life event, and tsunami, went and worked as a translator in just outside Wahara in a place called Kadrabali after the tsunami, and was exposed to Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières. I was working as a translator for them briefly, but I only went with a GP from the UK. At this point, I was a VP for Marriott, but then decided to come back and study medicine. So I went to medical school in the UK in the mid-90s. 2010s, Shantha opened his first office in Jaffna. My whole purpose of studying medicine was working for Doctors Without Borders. So I ended up working for Doctors Without Borders in between 2016 to 2019, mostly places like Yemen, Iraq, wherever there was some instability, and also slightly more stable areas like Nigeria and Ethiopia. Within MSF, I carried on using both my pediatric knowledge. So I decided to train in pediatrics even before I went to medical school. So I carried on using my pediatric knowledge as well as rolling out the health information system for MSF in all the remote areas. So I was providing training, and so I was utilizing both my skill sets when I was working for MSF. And that's the reason I think they hired me without too much fuss as such. And that's our involvement with IT and with each other and how long we have known each other for. Then the catalyst moment was last year, and Shantha has been quiet, so I'll let him talk for a bit. He's the one who inspired this initiative.
Thank you.
Shantha, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Neil. I think you are doing such a good job, and I will try my best. Yes. So what has happened? I would say 5 years ago, I arrived because we have a company in Jaffna. So they have a computer lab. And then for some reason, I decided to go there early on that day. I went there about 7:30. Normally, when I go there, I use the boardroom. And the boardroom, they had kindly allocate that boardroom for me whenever I go there. So when I went there, then I saw my tech lead and the technologist, Mayuran. I don't know whether you guys know. I think Jekhan, you might know Mayuran. He was part of IT, JAL IT Hub at a point. So he was lecturing the new employees about how to code and how to practice certain principles. And then I decided to observe. I remember still that he was on that day that he was teaching about arrays. Arrays are very fundamental for computer programming if you want to write efficient code. So he was teaching that. After the lecture, I spoke to Myron and I said, why are you teaching about arrays? Because they should have done it in the university. And but he said, yes, they do the theory, but these graduates, after 4 years of studying in the university and after the internship, that is, we are talking about 4 to 5 years minimum. And after that, also, they don't know how to implement arrays practically. So that's the moment that I thought that we need to we came up with this. So that's the moment that I was thinking about this Unicom TIC. Then I was thinking that it's best to provide a practical, but in a different way, in a new way of teaching is required. So most of the time, the teaching can be based on memorizing rather than memorizing. That I told myself, I told myself that we have to find logical, we have to sort of promote the logical thinking, which is very important for any programming. So that's my experience, because what has happened like 40 years ago, without that logical thinking, it's very difficult to survive in the IT industry. But after that, it evolved and people have introduced many tools. So as long as you understand the tools, it is possible to manage and survive in the programming world. But it is very difficult to write proper code. For example, I have paid a big price. If you look at the companies that I formed, one of the companies that I formed, I received a multi-million pounds investment from UK and USA. And we invested around £4.5 million in Sri Lanka to develop a product. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for us because so much bad code was written. And then we had to spend another £5 million to completely rewrite a new version. So out of this experience, only that I thought that it's best to take a new approach for education. And then that's the reason that came up with an idea. And then I spoke to Neil, and then he also had the same opinion. So then we formed Unicom TIC. So Neil,
Okay. Thanks a lot, Shantha. I'll just put it in few words here. Just if anyone wants to read it afterwards. So current status in Sri Lanka. There are people who do their A-levels and get into state universities, and one of the things they would study would be software engineering or something related to IT. But a significant number of students, we are talking in the thousands, pay to study IT privately. Right? And we are if you're doing a 3 to 4 3-year degree course, we are talking about 32 lakhs. Right. Someone is talking, or is it me?
People are talking. Background noise.
So they pay about 3 to 4 million rupees to study a 3-year course. And they do. And all these universities are affiliated to universities in the UK. So when we see CVs in Sri Lanka, they will say they have qualified from University of Westminster or University of Cardiff. They've got software engineering, and only a few people can do it. And when they come and start working, what you find is they take about 6 to 12 months to understand the industry. And out of 10 people we hire, you'll see only 2 to 3 people who will make it through as good developers at the end of it. The others end up staying in the industry. They are support engineers. There's nothing wrong with it. But should you have paid 35 lakhs or 30 lakhs to spend 3 to 4 years and then work as a support engineer or glorified telesalesperson? So this is the issue that we noticed. And then you have all of those people who can't afford to pay these 35 lakhs and don't have the luxury of spending 2 to 4 years learning something. It could be because they're financially not capable of funding it, or they may not have great O-level or A-level qualifications to even think about it. So the aim of the initiative, we should not have any barriers to entry. Reduce the length of training. So if they're not going to spend 3 to 4 years and then find out they actually don't have what it takes to be a great developer. As Shantha said, you could be a developer using the tools, but you're not going to be the cream of developers. At the end of this training, they need to have hands-on experience so they can start working, be efficient from day one. They don't need any internship. They don't need any further training. And the guaranteed employment. So if they're going to go through this, they're going to put in a lot of effort to learn this, but we need to be able to guarantee this employment. Something we both got exposed to. I did my initial computer training at NIBM, National Institute of Business Management in Colombo. And this was in 1981. And out of 48 candidates at that time, majority of them already degree holders. I was a 16-year-old. What they did was the first 5, the top 5 of the class, were given a job at NIBM. What we want to do with our course is introduce that concept for everyone who successfully completed, guarantee a job. So this is the program. It's going to be a fully funded program. We worked out it will cost them close to ₹1 million if they were to do it. And we will also provide up to 15,000 rupees in relocation cost or travel cost if people have to travel to do this course. Okay, and this is where Blossom Trust come in. It's a UK-based charity who have kindly agreed to fund these additional funding for people who may need it. They will do the screening to see whether someone is eligible, someone actually needs it, and then they will fund them. We don't get involved in providing them with accommodation or sorting of their transport because we want to focus on delivering the training. Minimal entry requirements. We only want somebody to be 17 years or older. Nothing else. I mean, we were asked to put in things like should have done maths in O level, should have done some math stuff or science stuff in A levels, should have some background in English. We don't want to have any entry requirements. We want someone to be thinking in a logical manner and someone who is passionate about what they want to do. In life, what we are both realize is that regardless to what vocation you pick up, you will succeed in it if you have a passion for it. Short duration. We want to do all of this in 9 months. Like Jekhan said, it's a very ambitious program. The way we are going to achieve this, it's going to be face-to-face. We can't do online. There's no way we can get people ready to this level doing online or part-time courses. It's going to be face-to-face. It's going to be based in Jaffna. And after the first 6 weeks, they will be on hands-on. So they'll be working in small groups, working with real-life projects. Something I did as part of medicine, I went to one of the newer medical schools where they do problem-based learning. And I was seeing my first patient after 6 or 7 weeks, starting in medical school. Traditional medical schools, you don't see a patient till you're in the third or fourth year, what they used to call the clinical years. But you need to get exposed to real life problems as soon as you start learning something. Otherwise, you're never going to learn how to use it, how to utilize it. And the assessment, it's not going to be a one-off assessment at the end. We'll be assessing them continuously just to make sure they're keeping up. They're not going to cram stuff for an exam and pass the exam and then find out they haven't actually learned it properly. And guaranteed employment on successful completion. Everybody who completes it will be employed if they were to complete it at the level we want them to complete them in. This is ambitious. Are we going to get the people? So just a mini case study. One of the applicants, we started rolling out the application process 2 months ago. One of the applicants is a young lady in her 20s. She was born and brought up in Vaunia, had done O-levels there, come to Jaffna to do her A-levels, and she's currently doing an open university degree in information, something related to information technology. She applied for the course and wanted to know whether she can use this course as an internship because she needs a year's internship to finish her degree. So we took her on as an admissions data coordinator for our organization. She's only been working for us for 2 weeks. And this is what gives me heart, because this young lady will go and learn things. I would say in the morning, I will have scrum meetings in the morning to see how the whole process is working out. I will say, I want you to put all of this in Microsoft Planner. She has never seen Microsoft Planner. The next day, she's presenting me with Microsoft Planner. She has Googled it, YouTubed it, learned it. She's coming back with it. This is the time. Maybe I'm being too ambitious, but this is the type of candidate I want. Someone who has got the initiative to go and find out things, teach themselves, and then we'll do the fine tuning. This is how I learned. This is how Shantha learned. As far as this young lady concerned, she will start the course when we start it. We are planning to utilize her as well as a student, as a lab instructor, because that would fit in with the course as such. The timeline, we have got, like Jekhan said, we've got the funding secured. We'll need about 100 million Sri Lankan rupees to roll this program for the next 2 years. We have got the funding for that. The location, we have got the building. This is in Jaffna, near Kota. We started marketing the initiative in November, end of October, early November. We had 3,000 plus people who have registered or registered interest. We have got 400 applications so far. The deadline for the application, we initially had it for 29th, which is tomorrow, but we're extending it till the 5th of February because we realized that the A-level exam, people who are doing the A-level exams now, they finish the exams on the 31st of January. So if there are people who have just done the A-levels, they can still do the course. And when they finish the course, they can either decide to stay in IT industry and work, or they can go to universities if they get a place in university. So because the way Sri Lankan A-levels work, they have about a year between the time they do their exam to the time they would start in universities if they were to start. Selection process is going to be crucial to the success. We need to get the right people in. Otherwise, we are not going to, the program is not going to be successful if we don't get the right people. So the applications do some sort of filtering. We ask for things like their view on teamwork and how they deal with time management. We are planning to hold workshops regionally next month so that not just Northern region, everybody else has got the opportunity to go for it. Interviews will be held in March and the course will start in March, end of March. We have got the building. We can accommodate up to 150. We are hoping to get about 120 candidates because we recognize there'll be about 10% who may drop out for a myriad of reasons. And but if we were to get only 50 candidates who are suitable, we'll go with 50 candidates. This is not about numbers. This is about the quality of the candidates. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to achieve this quality at the end of 9 months. I don't want to waste other people's time, and I don't want them wasting our time. Just to give you flavor of what we have got so far, applications wise. Like I said, we got nearly 400 applicants. So majority from the northern province, nearly 60%. And then we've got eastern province, Batikalo, Trincomalee, that area, about 21%. And then central province, about 12%. So this will determine where we will hold the workshops. We will hold a workshop in northern, well, more than one in the northern, maybe one in Jaffna, one in Vavuniya, one in the central province, ideally somewhere like Hatton, one in the eastern province, Batikalo, and then try to address the rest of them by holding a workshop in Colombo. Age range, majority are in that 21 to 24 age range, more than half of them. 17 to 20%, 70, about 80 is what 24% are between under 20. And then we have got applicants from over 30s. So we have got an application who is in his 40s. And someone who did medicine at the age of 40, I am not going to look away from someone who's want to come into IT. If they have the brains, I want them to do it. I don't care about how old they are and what they have done in the past. Opening ceremony is on the 16th of March at 4:30 at Northgate Hotel in Jaffna. Everyone in Jaffna Club is cordially invited. We will send the invites out through Jekhan, and the course commencement is aimed for the 29th of March. What can you help us with? Recruitment. We have identified people who will be teaching us for us. So lecturers will be teaching, and we'll also need lab coordinators. These are the ones when people start working in small groups, someone to guide them. So the groups will be 5 to 6 at the most. Students, there's still time for people to apply. So they've got another 8 days to apply. Yeah, they've got till not tomorrow, Monday week, Monday the 5th. So if you know anyone who will be suitable for this, who will be interested, please spread the word, because we want to be able to choose from the widest possible population in order to identify the right people. You can partner with us. So having seen the presentation last week by Chinaya, who is looking at teaching people about life skills, morals, values, and English. So some of the candidates you have may complement what we do. If you are willing to provide employment to anyone who qualify from this, it'll be ideal. Once again, we'll give you the transcript of what the course will be, what they'll be learning, and that would help you identify whether they'll be suitable for your organization and help us shape the next cohort. So at the moment, it's like the brainchild of Shantha and I. We are running with this. We realized right at the beginning, the more people we bring in, the longer it will take to decide things. It's like having committees in NHS here, like everywhere we have a committee. We from start to finish, this project so far, the project is only like 5-6 months old. So to be able to get this far, we had to be focused. We had to be ruthless. We had to make decisions. We talk to each other all times of the day, and we make decisions and run with it. But we will appreciate your guidance, because you have a wealth of experience among you, and we'll appreciate your guidance for the next cohort and areas we need to focus on, the type of people we need to look at, anything that we are doing wrong. So almost as a extended advisory board for us, because the way, and we would appreciate it. And we don't profess to know that we know exactly what we are doing. We have a dream and we are going for it. That's us. Thank you. Thanks, Jekhan. I will stop sharing and I'll pass it back to you. And these are our details. Once again, they will come on the presentation or recording as such. I'll give the floor back to you, Jekhan. I don't know how I do that.
I think if you just stop share, then I'll have
I've
this.
now done that. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. I mean, when I heard about what you and Shantha were planning to do when you contacted me a couple of months back, I felt it was a huge endeavor, partly because our people are not easy to train, because they are not disciplined. And one of your challenges, I was very impressed by what Shantha said, that early in the morning, Myron was giving a tutorial to people in his company to teach them about to read. The fact that Myron, I think a product of the IT Hub, took that initiative and your team took the trouble to come in early is a great sign. I like the fact that the case study Neil gave about the young lady who went and taught herself about some topic using Google and YouTube. When we were kids, we taught ourselves BASIC, and we wrote computer programmers. We taught ourselves that, and that's something that we need to recreate in our people here, not just IT, in farming, in everything. So this is a wonderful initiative. We have many people on this call who run companies, who are involved in NGOs. I'm sure that they will have input for you, advice for you. A couple of questions. The course is full-time, 9 months full-time. So there's no, it's not like a sandwich course. There's no work during them.
No, the course is absolutely full-time. And so the work will be the little mini projects they will work on. So we will give them well-defined projects and guide them, and that's how they'll be working on. But they won't be working for any other organization as such. In terms, so a couple of things I may have forgotten there. So it's full time. So it'll be 5 days a week, but the 5 days may not be just Monday to Friday. It'll be 5 days out of 7 days. So they may have to come in on at the weekends. I mean, we will need total commitment from the students, because we'll be using the lab facilities. The lab will be open till 8 o'clock in the evening. We've got nearly 100 computers that they can work on. They don't need their laptops. And one other thing that has been a thorn with few people is that we said the instructions will be given or clarified in Tamil. So we do not want to put the language as a barrier. So we recognize the fact that you will need English, but 30-40% of the jargon in medicine, in computer science is going to be in English. We can't talk to them about client servers in Tamil or relational databases in Tamil.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we won't stop them from learning just because they don't have English. So they will pick it up as they go along. And what we recognize is that to become an efficient and effective programmer, I worked with, when I was working with CMG and Marriott, I was working with large software houses from Bangalore. They can't string a sentence in English, but they were amazing developers. They could speak text speak. Text speak is different to having very fluent Queen's English. They can pick up the Queen's English at any time. I mean, we all learned. My first language is Tamil. I learned in Tamil, so I picked it up on my travels. Sorry, I've got a hand up from Raj Janan.
Yeah. So sorry, Neil, because we have about 20 minutes. So I want everybody to keep their questions and answers fairly brief. I mean, Janan runs a company near Yakachi. He'll tell you about that. I think, Neil, one thing you need to teach our people is to say when they don't understand. Because one problem we have in this country is everybody nods. They don't understand, they do the wrong thing, they come back and they just look sheepish. So if you spend a whole day on teaching them how to say, please, can you explain that? Then that would be a wonderful thing. Sugandhan has a brilliant trick to get these people in on time. He serves breakfast. If they're late, they don't get any break. But please, I'll give this to Jana now. Jana.
Neil and Shantha, thank you guys. Thank you for doing this. Like, I can tell you right now, your venture is going to be very successful. I have some experience in training in the IT area. I started a company in 1996 in New York. I switched from agriculture to IT, and I kind of landed up in Wall Street working for JP Morgan, and I wanted to kind of do this to other people and started a small company with 3 people, made it to 250 people, went public, sold my part. What I learned in this whole thing is I hired about 75 people from Sri Lanka, brought them to New York, specifically trained them on database technologies, system administration, and marketed them to all Wall Street companies. And during this process, one thing I learned is our guys are brilliant in learning. And they are very, very smart people. Yes, sometimes like I was marketing to Wall Street companies, so the communication was very, very important. We even trained them in that. And I'm so glad that you are doing this and you are really picking candidates who have no computer experience. Initially, I touched people with computer experience, and then I also took my friends who didn't have computer experience, and I was able to train them. And I just want to make it short. And so any help from my side, I will be happy. I'm going to spend some time after February in Jaffna. So any type of thing, I'll be happy to help you and share my experience doing this. Thank you, guys, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Raj. Both Shantha and I'll be in Jaffna in February as well. So hopefully we can meet up.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will be in Jaffna as well from Feb. So it will be wonderful to meet you and then share your experience.
Absolutely. I'll be happy to. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jana. Renuka. You're muted, Renuka. Renuka, you're muted. Renuka, you're muted.
I can't hear you. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, that's better. Sorry. Right. No, thank you very much. I mean, it sounds incredible, actually. And thank you very much for starting this, because there's so much that needs to be done. I have a very quick question. You mentioned that you have, I think, 3,000 applicants. Is that right?
3,000 registered people who express an interest. 400 applicants so far.
Okay, right. What I want to know is how did you get these people? How was it? Word of mouth? Was it how did you get?
We went through schools in Jaffna and the rest of the country as such. A lot of word of mouth, but I must admit, quite a lot from social media. So we ran some Facebook campaigns.
Okay.
And lots of people came through that. But so I would say about 50% of the interest was generated from social media. The other 50% was schools. There's a educational education department stuff that's going on in Jaffna. Through them, they've got different offices throughout the country. And then through friends who were telling everyone. And
yeah. Okay. So then the reason I ask is because we can. I mean, we live in Chunang for the moment for several months a year. So we've got neighbors and people in the local area, and wondering how you say whether that's something that they would be interested in, the young people in this area.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we will. Jekhan has got all the details. We can share it to you. Like I said, we have got another 8 days for people to apply.
Yeah.
We have there lots of YouTube videos. That we have got a YouTube channel for Unicom TIC. It goes through what the program is, what's going to be taught, how to fill in the application form, so people can watch it and write to us, and we will write back. Everybody who contact us, we will write back and take them through if they have any queries. But ideally, if they were to watch these videos, that will give them a pretty decent idea of what it is we are looking for and what commitment we need from them.
Okay, yeah. No, that'll be great. Thank you. I'll ask Jekhan. I'll be meeting him tomorrow, so we can do that. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Renuka.
Excellent.
Hi, this is Vasandan. So it's a very detailed video. It's worth looking at. Anyone interested? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
I got one question about this registered versus applied. So are you saying, so 400 people finally submitted the application? Is that right?
Yeah.
And what is that? 3,000 they registered means, but they haven't submitted the applications.
They haven't submitted the application.
Right.
So once who register, we send them all the information about what's involved in the course. The application is I'm bringing in my medical, because I also sit in on 3 different medical schools in the UK and interview and select candidates as medical students. So I'm bringing in medical school screening for this, because we need to make sure. In UK it costs us nearly 350 to 400,000 pounds to train a doctor. So we go through very rigid process to select candidates for medical schools. We don't want them to drop out after the first year or second year. It's waste of money. So if you look at the application, I'm asking for their personal statement, asking them to tell me why they are interested in it, what their passion, what their achievement is. I look at for what their teamwork credentials are, what their time management credentials are. So people may not be used to this. That's hence we have produced some videos to explain what we are looking for. And we allow them to write the application both in English and Tamil, either.
Okay.
So they can fill it in English and Tamil. Once again, the language should not be a barrier.
I sponsored few. I sponsored a few families from Mulliyawala, and then a couple of boys. They are very well. It's a poor background parents-wise, but they did get a very good O-level results. I mean, the one boy, he really grew up in a very interior area. He got 9 A's and 1 B, which is great for that part of Sri Lanka, and he's quite keen applying for this. I mean, I just kind of showed him a few days ago, so he's kind of. He listened to all the videos you guys recorded. I mean, that's what I was going to say. That video, Neil, you recorded is very informative. It's everything they need to know. It's in that video. So just kind of listening to the video is very useful. And he's going to apply. I think the one thing I mean I can highlight. I mean, it's great what you guys are doing. It's a very comprehensive package. The overall literally doesn't cost anything for whoever gets selected, right? The course, as well as even. I mean, you're paying for somebody to kind of spend that 9 months, the living expense. That's great. I don't think anyone will provide that, but so.
Thank you, Vasandan, and thank you for your comment about the videos.
One thing, I mean, I worked in technology, and I worked in finance for 20 years. And one thing I'm sure we all know, the kind of an attitude towards work in Jaffna among I mean, it's just the way Jaffna is, right? I mean, it's just, you need to be very proactive. You need to be willing to learn on your own. All these things is free. I mean, it's just a kind of having the right mindset. But unfortunately, the Jaffna mindset is like, if you pass an exam, somehow people assume that if they pass the exam, they're guaranteed a job. But it's not, right? I mean, exam is just kind of teach you a theory, and that's about it. But most of these exams don't give you the practical skills and experience. I think that's what always been missing in Jaffna. I mean, whoever just come up with 4 A's, A-levels, and go to uni in Jaffna, when they start working in the industry, they realize that's completely different to what they learned at uni. You know, just when the boys finish the degree at Jaffna University, automatically they assume that they need to be given a job, but the way the work in behavior, the work towards attitude, efficiency, all these things, not many people appreciate that. But given that you're really focusing into the practical experience, you'll make a huge difference on these boys.
Yeah, thank you, Vasantan. I just want to add that the difference between the registration form and then the application, registration has only very few fields. So that means only with commitment, people will will try to fill the application form, because application form, my understanding, Neil, correct me if I'm wrong, they have to spend at least 45 minutes, because that's where they evaluate the logical thinking and their passion and so on.
Yeah.
So that is the reason that even though 3,000 plus interested initially, and then it naturally goes down to 400, but we are expecting, because of the A-level exams, and we are expecting something like 600 plus finally, and then we'll be able to choose out of that 600. I think we'll choose around 120.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Shantha. Does anyone else like to ask a question, make a statement?
I just wanted to say thank to them, and we'll have a separate conversation after, Jekhan. Some people.
Thank you.
Then,
Okay, I mean, Sugandhan is someone who manages a large number of people in a wide variety of roles. So he'll speak separately about that. But one thing, I've been here for the last 8 years. Vasanthan commented on the attitude of the people. There's a saying in the teaching profession in the UK. Don't smile at your children until Christmas. What that means is that for the first 3 months, be strict. Don't smile at them, because when here, so often people see smile as weak, and you should start off with having CCTV. You should put it in. You should have. I recommend thumbprint registration, so there's no debate about whether people have arrived on time. If you have as many as 100 people coming in, then you should have 2 or 3. And these things have been installed even in my building. The software company upstairs has thumbprint registration. People sometimes make the mistake of going easy and trying to toughen up, and that breeds a lot of bad feeling. You should go the other way. In my opinion, you should toughen up and actually stay, and then they will appreciate things better.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jekhan. I actually, we are doing both. We are going to have CCTV and also thumbprint database or scanners. But absolutely, you're right. Absolutely, you're right. That is a weakness that myself and Neil have. Both of us, we smile always. I think we should take your advice.
But Jekhan, we're also going to introduce some kind of uniformity. So we were just recently thinking about everybody has to wear. We'll get some T-shirts, so within the class they feel as if they belong to the institution, and sort of like they take some pride in what they do, and I mean, you need to be proud about. If you're learning a vocation, you need to be proud about it. And they can come in dressed as anything, but while they are on the premises, everybody looks the same. So there's no one sitting there thinking if he or she's wearing something fancy. Sorry.
No, that's very important, because some people will be from poorer background, so they don't want that to embarrass them. So I think that's. I mean, I think. Our experience with Kurt's company is initially they don't like it, but then I think we didn't start with that. We brought it in later. If you start with it on day one, then it'll work.
So one question I have very quickly. So you did mention for the people who are completing it, there will be a job offer. Is it based in Jaffna or?
Shantha, you want to take that? Yes, I'm not sure about that because I think a few international companies like Canadian company and US company express their interest. And as a group CEO, we have a company in Jaffna, and we are expanding there. At least there'll be 50 more vacancies in Jaffna. But we are encouraging other companies to participate in the scheme. So as I said, that there's no preferences will be given to any company. So we'll be sending the qualified people's CV to everyone who want to participate in the partnership scheme. And then it is up to the student. There's no obligation towards Unicom TIC. So they'll be able to after they're completing. But only thing is that there'll be two type of certificates that we'll be giving. One will be industry ready for the qualified students, and then other is participation certificate.
Okay.
So industry ready, and hopefully that companies will employ them. Our partners will employ them.
Okay.
Okay, we have time for another question if another one is to be put.
Yeah. Can I talk?
Yes, please do.
Yes. No, it's rather than a question, it's just a quick comment. I'm Swarnalingam from Batiklo. Dr. Neil, it's a very exciting presentation. What I observed, it's a value-based initiative, and you have touched, it's very participatory and very transparency, and also you hold accountability. So it's a lovely initiative. So thank you very much for that. And if you need any support from the East, from Batty or from the East, I'm here to support you. And also we work in the social development, community development in the North. So if there's an opportunity in the future, even employment and all, to see how we can integrate the IT into the community development or social development planning, that we are willing to consider those areas as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Swarnalingam. I think, Neil, that this will be useful for us, because what we are thinking is to have the workshops and the interviews in different provinces. So in terms of East, I think this will be very useful. Contacting Mr. Swarnalingam.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I mean, if you point us in the direction of a venue to hold the workshops and stuff. So thank you, Mr. Swarnalingam. We'll definitely use your offer of help, because
so I will
Sharon?
share.
There's someone called Haran have hand up.
Yes, just share Neil and Shantha's emails at the end of this. Haran had his hand up.
Hi there. It was a lovely presentation. Lovely to meet you guys. I currently run a volunteering organization, and so what your initiative is very exciting. And we're deciding, and we're taking applicants for volunteers right now, and we were wondering whether we wanted to take in like computer science projects, and we were wondering what they could do. And I think it would be lovely value add if we could talk about what we could bring computer science students to do and talk about stuff that you're not doing, or whether your course is strictly vocational.
No. Any joint venture, because like I said, what you already do or what you're planning to do may complement what we are doing.
Sure.
So definitely, please do talk to us.
That'd be great.
All right, thank you, Haran. Okay, so unless there are any more questions, then I'm about to wind up. So I would like to thank Neil and Shantha for this brave initiative. It's got a hard start date. And what was the hard start date? Neil, your?
29th of March.
Yeah, 16th of May is the opening ceremony, and then 29th of March that's what we intend to do, and we are hoping to complete the building and all the facilities by end of February.
All right, good. I'll go there and have a look, just out of nosiness. I know where it is, very near Tilco Hotel.
Yeah.
But
and please do, Jekhan, sorry to interrupt. Please, like I said, all of you are invited. So if you could let us know whether you'll be able to attend the opening ceremony, which is on the 16th of March at 4:30 p.m. at North Gate Hotel.
North Gate Hotel, yes. It's
And,
doing
it's
it as Jet Wing, I guess. Yes.
It's not
It's
Chevron's
opposite-
anymore, but it's a very nice
Opposite the
hotel.
train station, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a nice place, good place. Okay, so thank you, everybody. And as usual, I will wish people from New York good morning, from London, what is it, sort of lunchtime-ish?
afternoon.
Afternoon. Sri Lanka, it's ready for time for a tea or time for a drink. And good night, Kurt, and our Australian friend. Thank you very much.
All right.
Jekhan.
Thanks,
you.
Jekhan. Thank you.
Thank you.